When my husband, Jason, came home one evening with a mischievous grin and a sparkle in his eyes, I should have known something was up. We had been married for nearly 10 years, comfortable, predictable, and, if I'm being honest, slightly boring. Our conversations had started revolving around grocery lists, our kids' school projects, and car maintenance. Romance had become a once-in-a-blue-moon event. But it wasn't always like that. In our early years, we were spontaneous, adventurous, and crazy in love. Over time, life simply caught up with us. That night, Jason walked into the kitchen while I was stirring a pot of tomato sauce. He kissed my cheek and leaned against the counter with a smirk. "Babe, I have an idea that might spice things up," he said. I laughed. Spice things up? That sounds suspiciously like trouble. Not trouble. Just an adventure. Something different. I arched an eyebrow. What kind of adventure are we talking about? A weekend away. Just the two of us. No phones, no emails, no kids. Somewhere cozy and quiet. The idea took me by surprise. We hadn't done something like that in years. Between work and parenting, we could barely find time to sit down and watch a movie together, let alone plan a weekend getaway. You serious? Just us. He nodded. I already checked with your sister. She said she'll watch the kids. I booked a cabin up in the mountains. It's beautiful, secluded, and has a hot tub on the deck. I stood there, completely taken aback. It had been so long since Jason had taken the initiative to plan anything romantic. Part of me felt overwhelmed, the other part deeply touched. I dropped the spoon into the pot, turned to face him, and grinned. "Okay," I said. "I'm in." A big yes. That one word set everything into motion. The following Friday, we packed our bags and headed upstate. The drive was scenic, rolling hills, autumn leaves, and winding roads that seemed to pull us further away from our busy reality. We listened to music from our college days, sang along off-key, and laughed like we used to. I couldn't remember the last time I had felt so relaxed. When we arrived, the cabin was even more beautiful than I expected. It was rustic but modern, with large windows, a roaring fireplace, and the kind of stillness that only exists in the middle of nowhere. Jason carried our bags inside, and I took a deep breath of the crisp mountain air. "This place is amazing," I whispered. That first evening, we cooked together in the tiny kitchen, drank wine by the fire, and really talked for hours. Not about bills or chores or schedules, but about us. We shared memories from our early days, the dreams we had put on hold, and how much we had missed each other, without even realizing it. It felt like rediscovering an old friend I hadn't seen in years. The next morning, Jason surprised me again. He had packed my hiking boots and suggested we try a trail he had read about. It was a moderate hike that led to a waterfall. I wasn't thrilled about hiking, but the idea of doing something new together was exciting. We set off mid-morning with a backpack full of snacks and water. The trail was stunning. Birds chirped overhead, leaves crunched beneath our feet, and beams of sunlight filtered through the trees. We held hands, laughed, took pictures, and acted like teenagers. Somewhere halfway up the trail, it started drizzling lightly, but instead of turning back, we kept going. By the time we reached the waterfall, the light rain had stopped. The view was breathtaking, a cascade of water tumbling down moss-covered rocks into a crystal-clear pool. We sat on a large rock, shared a granola bar, and listened to the sound of the rushing water. Jason turned to me and smiled. "Thanks for saying yes." "Thank you for asking," I replied. Then something unexpected happened. On our way back down the trail, Jason missed a step and twisted his ankle. It wasn't severe, but enough to make walking painful. He tried to tough it out, but I could see he was struggling. We stopped frequently, so he could rest. Eventually, I took the backpack and let him lean on me for support. It was slow going, and by the time we made it back to the cabin, it was nearly dark. I helped him onto the couch and fetched an ice pack from the freezer. Despite the injury, we both laughed about how clumsy he had been. "Leave it to me to get hurt trying to be romantic," he joked. We spent the rest of the evening indoors. I made soup from the groceries we brought, and we played board games by the fire. His ankle was swollen, but his spirits were high. That night, as we curled up in bed, he whispered, This might be the best trip we've ever had. Even with the twisted ankle? Especially with the twisted ankle, he said with a chuckle. The next day, we decided to take it easy. We lounged in the hot tub on the deck, watched the mist roll through the trees, and enjoyed the silence. No distractions. No obligations. Just us. Before we left on Sunday, we wrote each other letters and exchanged them in front of the fireplace. Mine talked about how I had missed the man I married, and how this trip reminded me that he was still there, just buried under responsibilities. His letter made me cry. He told me he had felt distant and was afraid we were losing our spark. This getaway was his way of fighting for us. Driving home, I felt like a new chapter had begun. Not because of some grand, dramatic event, but because we had chosen to step out of our routine and invest in each other. Saying yes to Jason's suggestion changed the course of our relationship. Back in our normal lives, things didn't magically become perfect. But something had shifted. We started prioritizing date nights again. We texted each other during the day, just to say hi. We even planned another short trip 6 months later. It was never about the cabin or the hike. It was about making the choice to reconnect. So yes, when I said a big yes to Jason's suggestion, I had no idea what would happen next. But I'm so glad I did. Because sometimes, a simple yes can bring you back to everything you forgot you were missing.